As I do in many of my graduation homilies, I'm going to ask you to think back to 4 years ago, to the day you arrived at PC. Most of you arrived with your parents and spent the day meeting your roommates, setting up your rooms, and getting ready to begin your new life here. And for some of you, there was anxiety, and for most, there was just such enthusiasm about beginning one of the most important and exciting chapters of your life. For some of your parents, maybe it was a bittersweet moment. There's often a lot of tears as your parents say goodbye and leave you here for the first time. But I suspect that by the time they dropped you off for sophomore year, they were already making plans for how they'd use your room once you graduated and moved out of the house. But fast forward to today. We are so blessed to be here to celebrate all that you have accomplished, to thank you for making your mark on PC, to thank your parents and faculty, and to thank God for the degree you'll receive, for the fun you've had, and the friendships that you've formed. Friendships with classmates, faculty, and Dominicans, friendships that will last a lifetime. And how fitting it is that we gather here today in the Peterson Center where your Providence College journey actually began. 4 years ago, as brand new friars on move-in day, you came here as a class to celebrate your opening Mass with your families, your new friends, and with the Dominican community. This was how you officially began your journey at PC, by turning to God and coming together here in a joyful celebration. And it set the tone for what your time here would be like. And as you all know well, Providence College is not simply named after the city of Providence. Rather, it takes its name from the notion of divine providence, that firm belief that God provides for us, that He guides the people and the events in our lives, and that all the good that comes to us is part of God's loving plan. And we wanted your opening Mass to be a reminder to you that God, in His providence, had led you here to the college named after Him, and that He'd be with you every step of the way. And now, in God's providence, the Peterson Center becomes the place of your final gathering as an entire class here on our campus, a place from which we send you forth. 4 years ago, perhaps you came here as naive and awkward 17 and 18-year-old first-year students, unsure of what lay ahead. At least that's the way I felt when I arrived here as a freshman. But contrast the kid you were then to who you are now. Think of how your own grit and determination, the dedication of the faculty and staff who have loved and mentored you, and the grace of God have all transformed you into the amazing adults that you've become. You've been shaped by faculty who pushed you, inspired you, challenged you, and you've been served by Dominicans who found such joy in accompanying you on this journey. And you walk out today prepared and excited for tomorrow's graduation, knowing who you are and to whom you belong. And I know that for most of you, this is a bittersweet moment. While you're friars forever, you won't be walking our campus every day in the company of people you've come to cherish. It'll be different. Whether it's Darties in the neighborhood or the 10 o'clock Mass or 100 other things, you're going to miss this place. But you are so ready. As you know well, the motto of our college is Veritas, truth, and you've spent 4 years in search of truth. Because of your strong core in the humanities, especially through your long rite of passage through Western Civ, no matter what you majored in, you've wrestled with Plato and Augustine, with Aristotle and Aquinas, with Dante and so many others. You've explored the rise and fall of civilizations, the birth of ideas, and most importantly, you've heard this often from us, the compatibility of faith and reason. And as your president, and even more importantly as a Dominican priest, I hope and I pray that your time here at PC has also been a spiritual journey, a journey to seek and know God, the ultimate truth, even if you didn't always recognize it. Here at PC, the life of the mind and the life of the soul go hand in hand. I hope and I pray that your experiences here have helped you discern not just what you can do, but who God created you to be. Now, the gospel for today's Mass is perfect for your graduation Mass. It comes from the 13th chapter of John's Gospel, and it's set in the upper room, and the hours just before Jesus would face his passion and death. And he speaks to his disciples not with lofty commands or doctrinal statements, but with the raw emotion he felt because he knew his hour had come. And he tells them, I give you a new commandment, love one another. As I have loved you, so you also should love one another. And it's important to note where and when Jesus says this. He has just washed their feet. Judas has just left the room to betray him. Peter is about to deny him, and still, Jesus speaks of love. And not abstract love, not a love of convenience or ease, not a gushy sentimentality, but a love that's rooted in and defined by self-gift and sacrifice. And I pray that this love that Jesus calls each of us to has marked your 4 years at Providence College. Whether you always knew it or not, whether you always noticed it or not, you've been enveloped in this love. In classrooms, in chapels, in conversation with friends or professors or friars, in moments of struggle and in times of joy. And now Jesus turns to you, class of 2025, and says, as I have loved you, so you also should love others. And it's not just a nice, pious saying. It's the measure by which your education, your vocation, and your life will be judged. In the world you're entering, in business or healthcare, education or the arts, public service, or maybe even someday religious life, our world needs courageous witnesses, men and women who are not afraid to love as Jesus loved and to live with meaning and purpose. You've been prepared for this. You are so ready. And whatever uncertainties the future holds, whether you already have a job lined up or have been accepted into grad school or medical school, or you're still figuring things out, know this: God is not done with you. He's been with you in your years here, and he'll continue to shape your life in surprising and beautiful ways. In the words of St. Catherine of Siena, a great Dominican saint and a doctor of the church, be who God meant you to be, and you will set the world on fire. Class of 2025, you were not meant for small things. You were meant to set the world on fire with truth, with courage, with integrity, and with love. And I promise you that wherever your future journeys take you, God will be with you every step of the way. God bless you, and God bless Providence College.